tried to get out, and the time was now.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sitting Down with Standups. I am one of the co-hosts, Justin Sakarica. As always, we have the bean behind the scene with a new nickname, White Daryl, working the cameras and doing all the tech stuff.
Oh, White Daryl's got a tan.
White Daryl does have a tan. White Daryl has been in Aruba on vacation, the lucky son of a bitch. And over to my left here, we have the very lovely Elena Gonzalez. Elena, how have you been?
Not on vacation in Aruba.
Exactly, same here. I've been back in Tennessee again, which is not quite. It's not quite Aruba. It's warmer than it was here. We obviously had that horrible ice storm, which was a giant pain in the ass. So.
Definitely. But it's so weird because we haven't had much other winter.
Yeah.
So it feels weird to complain about, like, oh, we had 3 days of winter. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and we really haven't had much snow. Mm-hmm. But speaking of snow...
Best segues in the business, ladies and gentlemen.
There is a new movie out called Cocaine Bear. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Snow is also called cocaine. And
Snow is also a Canadian rapper.
An informer.
Yes, yeah. Jamaican in some way, but...
Ricky Boom Boom now.
Yes. God, what a great song.
I was so disappointed when I found out he wasn't really Jamaican. He's Canadian.
Yeah,
it was all...
It's a big lie.
A big lie.
Not quite as bad as Milli Vanilli, but it's up there. It's up there. You know, it's also kind of like how Criss Cross didn't really wear their clothes backwards all the time.
They didn't?
No. It's just for the video.
How am I just learning this right now?
That's part of becoming an adult. You learn these horrible truths.
I spent so much time in middle school with my clothes backwards because I was trying to be cool. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm still trying to be cool.
So Cocaine Bear is real?
Well, we're going to get more into disappointment again, okay? Oh. So the movie is about a bear that, ingests a bunch of cocaine and goes on a murderous rampage, which, very cool concept. I love the schlocky 80s idea behind it.
Which is why I've stayed away from cocaine for the most part, because, nothing says murderous rampage like this face right here.
And that's why I've stayed away from bears, because, especially ones that do drugs. But the movie is about a bear that ingests cocaine, goes on a murderous rampage, but the true story is a lot more boring than that. Okay. The bear ingested a bunch of cocaine and died.
Oh.
So literally,
He didn't even get to, fuck a groupie or buy a record store or
No,
anything?
I think the only thing he did is he was able to, put it on a mirror, chop it up, line it up,
Nice.
But I think it's a great idea for a movie.
Did he get one of those kimonos like they had in Boogie Nights?
I hope so. God,
Get to sing a little Sister Christian. Was that the song that was going along with it? Daryl, do you remember it was a Sister Christian?
Yeah, Sister Christian.
Yeah. Because I know that my ex-husband does not watch this. One of the most disappointing parts in our relationship was when I learned that I said yes, I do, to a man who thought the name of that song was Motorin'. Legitimately.
Okay, so your divorce makes a lot of sense now.
No,
It makes a lot of sense.
That song is not Motorin'.
Yeah. Speaking of mirrors and cocaine, did you know that when you go to the fair growing up and you win those those are cocaine mirrors.
Because any mirror is a cocaine mirror?
Well, they have the rock stars on them and half-naked women, yet those are specifically designed to do cocaine on.
Oh, wow.
So when you're literally oh, wow, I want this cool mirror, you're supposed to be doing cocaine on those. Nice. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, don't ask me. I was taught how to make cocaine. Because I'm pretty sure I used to work with a guy who was friends with Pablo Escobar, and I'm not making this up. Okay? I swear to you.
This episode is off the rails.
Yes, yeah.
Rails. Okay. So wait. So you learned how to make cocaine. You're pretty sure that there's a guy that knew Pablo Escobar that you used to work with.
Yes, because he had... Okay, so let me explain, okay? And Pedro, if you're watching this, dude, look.
And his name is Pedro?
Yes. Okay, so anyway, very nice guy, right? Mm-hmm. But there are a few things that really raised some red flags. Number one, he was on the 4-10 schedule, which meant he worked 4 days a week, 10 hours.
Right.
Guess where he went every Friday? To Florida.
Okay.
Do you know what he would do in Florida? He would fly his private plane.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, obviously, you know, a little bit of some drug running there. Then,
He's just cooler than you, that's all.
anytime we talked about, like, South America, he would praise Pablo Escobar. And he was like, man, Justin, you know, Pablo Escobar, he wasn't that bad of a guy, man. He was actually a pretty good guy. And he would explain to me how, you know, Pablo Escobar would give money to the schools and children. And then one day, he's like, hey, Justin, do you want to know how to make cocaine? And I'm like, I don't really see this as a life skill, but yeah, it's like you take the coca leaves and you pour kerosene over it, over like a screen, and like something that drips down. Somehow that residue is a way to make cocaine. But the kicker here was one day, he was talking about his Lord and Savior, Pablo Escobar. And he was like, you know, Justin, you know Pablo Escobar loved hippos, right? Which Pablo Escobar's favorite animal was hippos, and they actually have a big problem right now in Colombia because there's a breeding population of hippos going crazy. He's like, you know what Pablo Escobar used to do, man? He would take people and feed them to the hippos. Man, this one time I seen this guy, I heard about it. And I'm like, holy fuck. You were one of Pablo's fucking henchmen, and you saw him feed a man to a hippo. I don't feel comfortable around you anymore, Pedro.
But he's a nice guy. He was a really nice guy.
Very nice guy.
And this was, what, when you were working at Burger King, or what?
It's when I worked at Master Naughty Produce, which there could be a whole podcast about that place. Yeah, it was it was insane. Yeah, a Freudian slip, and then he kept saying, I heard about it, Justin. Justin, I heard about it. Okay, man.
Okay.
Whatever, Pedro. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's produce people teaching other people how to make cocaine, but
Life skills. Really.
Life skills.
Master P taught everybody how to make crack.
Yeah, I also know how to make meth, too, by the way.
Why are we doing this podcast?
Well, see, that one was...
We are hoping for followers and potentially a sponsor or two, and he knows how to make meth and coke, and we are not just cooking in the basement.
Exactly.
What is going on?
Well, the meth thing was I was on federal jury duty in Port Huron, and the case was there was a guy that was making and distributing meth for a pretty notorious biker gang, and part of his defense was I'm too dumb to make meth, and the prosecution taught us how to make meth to show us how easy it was, and I was like, okay, so I can add making meth to my drug skills now. So
step 1, take your pants off. Step 2, put on tighty whities.
Yeah.
Step 3, buy an RV.
Yep.
This is how we make
once
meth.
I know how to make LSD, I think I'll be a lot more popular in the comedy scene.
We'll all be a lot richer.
Yeah, we will.
That's what I'm hearing.
We will. Well, speaking of rich, we've got some pretty.
See where this goes.
We got some pretty rich tasting bourbon right here.
There we go.
Elena, where is that bourbon from?
Telling you, the best segues in the fucking
I got
business. Traverse City. Ooh.
Didn't something pretty big just go down in Traverse City in the comedy world recently? Nope, not at all. Okay, well, listen, guys, thanks for watching. This has been a great episode. Be sure and subscribe.
No, we just, a few weeks back, we had the Traverse City Comedy Festival.
Sounds like a lot of
Bringing
fun.
it back. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've got a lot to talk about because we have a fantastic guest on the show today who was a very big part of that.
Yes.
So yes, we are going to be very excited here for you to see one of the most hardworking, fun, and just one of the best personalities to be around here in the Michigan comedy scene.
And she's fucking hilarious.
And she's fucking hilarious too, by the way. So ladies and gentlemen, coming to the shuffleboard is the extremely funny and talented Melanie Hearn. Melanie, come on in here. We got a lot to talk about. Woo-wee!
Thank you.
No problem.
So not only is she hardworking, intelligent, gorgeous, hilarious, all of those things, one of my favorite moments, while she gets mic'd up, is Melanie is also very talented when it comes to interpretive dance.
I didn't know this. This is already going to be a fun one.
And so every night at the end of the festival, there was a bar up in Traverse City that we would all go to that was doing karaoke. And one night, Josh Adams was hosting karaoke, and past annoyance, not past official guest, Kara Karachi, was singing. Was it Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Turn around.
Yep. Turn around, bright eyes. And there's that part in the middle where it's just musical. And I had a late show, so I was coming in late. Everybody was already partying, and I walk in, and Kara's spinning around, and she's like, Melanie, interpretive dance! And Melanie just stands up and just... I'm like, oh, okay. This is where we're at.
Would you like to demonstrate some of those moves right now, or?
I mean, it might just come out in conversation.
Yeah,
as
gotcha.
I go, it's
Okay,
just a thing,
Yeah, kind of like John Madden, start talking with
it's-
your hands. And...
It's just the flow. It's just the
Gotcha.
something. When I feel the spirit of Dionne Warwick, it just
Oh well,
I feel it deep.
we are definitely very happy to have you here on the show, Melanie.
Oh, thank you. Thanks
very
for
glad.
having me.
I'm glad that you didn't get too lost in my neighborhood out there and run into any wild Johnny B's or any of my other crazy neighbors. So.
You know what? I got a lot of experience with this neighborhood. I used to work at the cemetery down the street.
Oh, really?
yeah. So I used to cold call these people. So I ain't even tripping on them.
Yeah.
I ain't tripping on them.
Gotcha.
Wait, you used to work at the cemetery?
Yeah.
What did you... I know some of these things, but we're trying to help you. What did you do at the cemetery?
Well, I did a full range of things at the cemetery. I got promotions and everything. I was good. But I started out as a telemarketer. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, where you have to call people and cold call like the list, and you got a script in front of you, and you got to offer them a free grave.
Free grave?
Yeah, I mean that's all. I mean that's the pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, how else can I get in your house? You got to offer something free, so you call, offer a free grave, and I got the whole little sales pitch. Like what time would be better, Wednesday at 5 or Thursday at 3? And they'd be like, and I'd be like, okay, see you then, So I used to cold call people and sell cemetery property, which I was very good at because I did sell like a lot of property. I got like a little gold record where I sold a bunch of property and stuff like that. And then after that, I moved up to being what we call a family service counselor. Oh. So I was the person that you had to sit down with in the room and make the arrangements with and come back and tell you, hey man, it's gonna run you a cool $12,000, dog. You know what I'm saying? So everybody in there like,
So, incoming horrible joke. While you worked there, did you tell people that your name was Melanie Hearn?
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good. I did not, but I should have. I did tell them they had to earn a Hearn though.
Ah, there you go. Earn the Hearn. Yeah.
How? I don't want to get too deep, but just listening to that, I feel like you can't not take some of that with you. Like, just if your day, all day, every day is just sitting across the table from people that are just like, oh, Big Mama's gone. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, how? That's that.
Well, I was a comedian at nighttime, so so I had balance. You know what I'm saying? So I would just take all that and then just go to work and take it to the stage. So that was my balance.
Yeah. So you were doing the whole funeral thing, comedy before David Shank was, because for a while he was working in the funeral business, and now he's a flight attendant or something. Or
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a fellow brethren in the mortuary business.
Yes.
I think that's current because prior he was in the train
business. Yeah.
Yes.
David Shank is a former co-host of the show here.
Man who wears many hats.
Yeah, he wears a lot of hats. So
Many hats.
Yeah,
Many hats.
And I do like the hat that you're wearing, by the way. It's
thank
very
you.
nice.
Thank
It's
you.
very
Thank you.
stylish.
Thank you. Somebody keep calling me Debbie Gibson.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the Traverse City Comedy Festival. I mean, that had to be one of the best comedy experiences of your life. I'm assuming.
You know what? It actually was. It was from the time we got there. It was first of all, we were just all kind of like in anticipation a little bit because you didn't know what to expect, and you start seeing who was on the list, and you're like, oh, I get to see my friends and people you don't get to see in a long time. Because once you start working and getting to a certain level, you don't get to work with people because now you're the same. So just as soon as I pulled up, I saw like Nardos, and everybody hugging and embracing, and it was just like just the energy as soon as you got there. So it was just like a big family reunion. So that in itself was just wonderful. And then shout out to Sam Rose Entertainment because they put together a very nice swag bag that had these players cards, like these game collectors cards that had all of our headshots on them.
Oh, that's
So
very cool.
yeah, so like I know some of the comedians were going around and getting them signed by everybody so they can keep them. Because low key, they might be collector's items. Low key, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
So
I've got a 75% full deck. I still have some cards that I got to get signed. But
see, because you never know, you have a card signed by so and so, and this is the first time and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it was I mean, it was so much. I mean, I could just start from that point. Just the camaraderie. Again, we don't get to hang out and do karaoke and we just don't get to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just the fact that we all get to have fun together and just be around each other and perform and everything like that and have a little vacay. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, I was seeing all the posts and clips on Facebook, and I was like, God, it looks like so much fun. Like, it looked like it was one of the best things to happen to the Michigan comedy scene in a very long time. And, everybody
concur.
always talks about how strong the scene is, and I think that right there is like a really good like stamp on, hey, you know what? The Michigan scene is extremely strong, and it's going to keep getting stronger.
Absolutely.
yeah, and not it was very fun, and definitely echo everything that Melanie was saying. The other thing that that Ann and Mike were able to do, though, is pull in educational items and open up room for discussion. So we would have these workshops on 2 of the days in the morning. There were various workshops, and one of them I know you were a part of, and it was just talking about diversity in lineups. There's been a lot of discussion lately on both sides as far as specific diversity in lineups and the kind of gimmick nature of it versus making sure that there are opportunities and making sure that everybody kind of has a chance, but is that creating false a false spotlight for somebody who may not actually be as funny as somebody else because they're getting this diversity hire. So I know that we're not going to recreate the entire 45-minute conversation that we had there, but what is your take on kind of some of the things that were coming out of that? I know it's kind of loaded, and I didn't even really ask you a question, but I'm leading to something.
Oh, okay. Listen. Oh.
Hey, I've got more bourbon down here if you need
From
some.
Traverse City.
Yeah.
Well, like we had talked about in the panel discussion about diversity, it might be sometimes where you may hire some person. Like affirmative action in comedy doesn't work the same way it would work in corporate America, because at the end of the day, funny is still gonna outweigh.
Yep.
So you still have to pull your weight when you're there. All everybody is asking is just give me the, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. I know it's discussion about creating your own way and doing this all other kind of thing. But like I was saying, that sometimes there's nothing wrong with being a comedian as a living and a career. So just like you would want to get paid fairly at your job at the plant, then I want to get paid fairly as a comedian. So there's nothing wrong with being a comedian as a career. It is a career option. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I don't want to make the $1 million, or maybe I don't want to do this, and maybe I don't want to create this invite. Maybe I want to have a job that's flexible, that I can go out on the weekends and travel and entertain people and still come home and take care of my kids and make a living, and I'm not punching the clock. And that's an honorable profession. So the thing of the matter is, with diversity, just allow people that space to be able to do that. So I should be able to go feature in the club. I should be able to headline in the club. I should be able to go do this. It shouldn't be a cap on it, And just even in the news, nothing new about, what's his name?
There's a hand thing going.
The guy, not Mencia, the other one. Lopez, George Lopez, kind of becoming a block to other Hispanic comedians that want to come up. You know what I'm saying? So it happens across the board. It's not just here. So the whole thing is people having to get that gateway type feeling off of them, and I shouldn't have to go out and create something if I don't want to. I should be able to go and say I'm a comedian and this is my job and this is my merit and this is what I've done and I've worked this hard. You know what I'm saying? And I should be able to do that.
Yep.
without it being, something extra or you having to meet a quota or, anything like
Yeah.
that. So I don't think everybody, there is a lane for the person to go out and build. There's also a position for the person to go out and just make a living as being a comedian.
Yep.
I mean, it's a dog-ass schedule. Thursday to Friday, you know what I'm saying? You got a nice schedule. It's a great schedule.
Yeah, and you're bringing joy into people's lives.
Yeah.
Which the world can never have too much laughter.
Absolutely.
And again, like, if it gives you joy, why should somebody try and stop you from doing that?
Absolutely.
Like, you want to go out there, you want to make people laugh. Like, that's what we do as comedians. And you don't want roadblocks, you want open pathways. And like you said, sometimes you make your own way, other times ways are paved for you. And there's no wrong way either way, Yep. Just get out there and do your thing, and all the power to anybody who wants to do this as a full-time career.
Yeah,
for real.
because there's no wrong way to do this. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever your end game is, that is your end game.
Yes.
The only thing I beg of you is understand this is stand-up comedy, not stand-up slapstick, not stand-up whatever, stand-up comedy, okay? We write jokes, okay?
Yeah.
That's it. I don't
Be
care what else you
funny.
do.
Yeah.
Be funny, okay?
Yes.
That's it. I don't care what all the other stuff is. Be funny, because the thing of the matter is, when you get the opportunity, you got to be ready to take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just as so, the thing is, it is called stand-up comedy to make people.
Yeah. Capital C.
Be
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
Please be funny.
Be
Yeah.
funny.
And I think we've talked about it on the show before sometimes. Like, there are some people, unfortunately, who want to be shock artists, and they want to go up there and be as shocking, as controversial as possible, with the side effect of possibly being funny. And that's not the way you should do it. You should go up there and try and be as funny as possible, where some people might not like it, Again, we know that there are some people that try and throw as much crap at the wall just to see what sticks.
Prime example, as comedians, from a comedic standpoint, Chris Rock could have been excused if the joke was funny. From a comedic standpoint. Comedians were like, the joke wasn't even worth it.
Right.
Like, we'll take whatever the consequence
Yeah.
is if the joke is worth it. Like, I've been threatened about jokes I tell, but it's worth it. Like, I've been on the phone like, I die for this joke. You run.
Yeah.
It's a great joke, and I'm not giving it up. But if it's not a good joke, and it's a stock joke, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like low-hanging fruit is...
Low-hanging fruit is not worth, whatever.
Right.
Shock value joke and all this. It's not
Yeah.
worth the consequences. But if it's something that can ride on in history, then by all means, sometimes.
There are the hands again.
Because it is a place for... That's my interpretive dance. My
Yeah,
interpretive talk.
I love it.
So there is a place for it, because those are the people that came before. So there is a place, but it, again, has to be well-written, well-crafted.
Smart. It has to be smart.
Or funny.
Yeah.
Just, funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. Put some time and effort into a joke like that.
Yeah, so,
Now,
And I do think that one of the hardest parts is when you are around, and I'm going to go back to Traverse City, when you are around someone like Melanie, and other people. I'm going to specifically talk about hip-prov, for instance. Melanie was the winner of the Traverse City hip-prov.
Queen of the North!
Queen of the North, yeah.
Queen of the North.
Oh, you won?
Yeah, I am the queen.
Do you want a prize?
Oh, my goodness, look at that. That's my prize.
There you go, yeah.
Queen of the North.
So it was Melanie and Ronnie and Kevin Johnson and Cam. And if you've never seen hip-prov, I know we talked about it a lot when Tam was here, but if you've never seen hip-prov, do yourself a favor, find it, go watch it. But I learned the hard way that they make it look so easy. Because Tam had been talking to me about doing it for a while, and I was up in Traverse City, and I'm watching you guys, and all of you are hilarious, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be that funny, but I'm gonna
try.
I'm gonna
the old college
it,
try.
and I've never done improv before, but it's fun. I'm gonna try it. Oh no, oh no, it is an entirely different.
Whole different animal.
It is a whole different animal. You got to get up there, and you've got 2 seconds from your suggestion to then come up with a rap, and you've got 2 seconds from this to go do. And is that something that you've always had, or do you think that is something you've been doing this, what, 8-9 years now?
8 years.
Wow.
Is this something that you have kind of gained as you've done it? Or are you just naturally,
absolutely.
like, growing up?
As far as like improv,
Mm-hmm.
improv terrifies me. Like I improv, like if you in the beginning, in the beginning of the show, if you see it, I kind of struggle in the beginning because sometimes it takes me a little bit to get into like that first game. I'm usually a little because my mind has to wrap around what I'm doing. But improv is very tough, like very tough, because you're like you said, you're going off the dome. We go off the dome in a different way. You know, like we're doing it. We're not acting out. We're not doing anything like that. And then it's a one-man show for us. Them, you're kind of relying on people. You have to team up and kind of go with the other person and figure it out. And it's a lot, you know. So I shout out to the improv troops and all that because that's a whole different. That's why I said I love comedy because you can't group comedy under one. Like everybody has a different special skill set. So the improvers are different from the stand-up, which are different from the people that can do skits. You know, all those people are different people under one umbrella. You know, so the hip hop girl, I always be nervous on the hip hop. I mean, they be like, CB, because you see, I had to do something. I said the wrong letter, the initial. I was so confident, and they was like CBD, and I was like, oh, I thought y'all said G. So now I got to rethink the whole thing. So I messed that all the way up. But yeah, improv is tough.
How did you first get into stand up?
It was a cold winter. So low-key, comedy is something I always wanted to do, like most of us. I didn't really know how to break into it. I had the whole, like, I went to college to be a lawyer. I had my whole, like, life set out. I'm going to go to law school. You know, I had the perfect boyfriend, and, you know, everything was set out. And then one day, I just was like, nope. Like, I applied to law school, did the whole thing, the whole thing, got accepted, everything. Me and my cousin, who's now an attorney today, you know, we were going to visit different law schools, and I just walked in, and I was like,
not for you.
Like, this is not for me. But when you figure out something that you work for your whole life, you don't want to do no more. You know, you kind of at a crossroads, you know. So I went through a whole couple of years of a crossroads. And funny, back in 2008, I was on the boat, the Princess boat, for something with my church. And I saw a comedian, Crystal P. And Crystal P is a clean church comic. And I was like, oh, she's funny. Because kind of saying that my comedy influences were different. So when it was time for me to want to do comedy, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to go because I didn't necessarily identify with going like the Def Comedy Jam comics because I was too young. Like I couldn't watch it. You know what I'm saying? So I watched like a lot of Whoopi Goldberg and Chevy Chase and stuff like that. You know, like comedy, you know, and everything like that. So I really didn't know where to start. And I think it was like maybe 2014, like right before I started. And I wouldn't say I was depressed, but you know, most of y'all see me, I smile a lot and stuff like that. So to see me go damn near a year and I'm moody and I'm up and down, I know I was messed up. So my mom, like any good mother, was like, so I'm going on with my baby. So she had a paper and it had ads for Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle. And she circled it, told me to call, and the classes started that Saturday. She took $200 out her purse and said, go to the class. And the rest is history.
Wow.
That's how it started.
That's how a good movie starts.
It is,
For
isn't
real,
it?
yeah.
It is.
And the Melanie Hearn story.
And when are you headlining?
This December. I'll be headlining at Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, December 21st to 23rd.
Sounds like we'll all be there as well to support you. Congratulations.
Oh, you so sick. It did, because I walked in, I saw Bill Bushard on stage. You know, he was up there. It was a couple people in the audience. It was a Saturday class. And I remember just walking in, and you could, you know, it's just that smell. It's not necessarily stale popcorn, but it's something. And then you see the pictures on the wall, and you walk down the ramp, and you just see that person there with the mic, and I was like, this is it. I was like, this.
It's that feeling, yeah.
Now, is there anybody in your class who was in your class that's still doing it?
No. I don't know. I think I see Tom Womer around every now and again, but nope. That's about it.
Yeah, I see Tom occasionally.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's the only person that was in my class that was still around. But it's so funny because I thought I was doing it wrong because Bill was never giving me any notes or nothing like that. And I remember I went on stage and he asked me about my day, my job, my relationships, and I just answered him like in a regular conversation. And he was like, "Congratulations, you just wrote your first set. Go home, memorize it, tweak it, whatever." And then after that, everybody will go up and, because after that you have to keep going up during the class, whatever. And I'm like, he's not giving me a lot of notes. Like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that Bill does the Jedi mind thing, Where it's like...
The Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the Obi-Wan and everything, like, And, like I said, the rest was... It just literally everything just changed from that day.
That's awesome. That's very inspiring, just to think about, the fact that your mother, again, the one who knows you the best, was like, you know what, this might be a good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is a very good heartwarming story.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be on Hallmark watching.
Yeah, I would watch it. Now, what do you think the name of your life story would be if it was made into a film?
I have to think. Let me see.
Oh yeah, it could be a kind of a
That's a good one.
Yeah,
It is a good one.
I know. It's definitely, and I'm not necessarily rags to riches, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a. We could think about that one. Maybe Cocaine Bear too.
Maybe you know what I'm saying. The Melanie Hearn story from Crenshaw to from Detroit to Crenshaw, from Detroit to South Central, a comedy story.
Yeah. So one thing too, you are part of a tour that goes around. It is called the Eyes Up Here Tour.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know what that means, it means, hey, stop looking at those and look up here, right? Mm-hmm. And I made a comment a little bit before the show about a town that I don't think you guys would be able to go and do that, because there's a town in Ohio that is entirely comprised of retired circus midgets. And so that name wouldn't really fit in that, because you would then be encouraging them to,
Their eyes would be up.
Yeah,
eyes will always be. That was.
You would be encouraging them to be little perverts, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
I probably would have nightmares. I would just be like, because I feel like everybody's eyes would be like, because everybody would just be like, okay.
Exactly, So when you guys decide to take the tour into Ohio, keep that in mind.
I would keep that one in mind.
I don't remember the name of the city. I'm sure it's probably a small town.
I'm going to Google it.
Yeah.
You know what? I see what you did there.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, that's going to be... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's got to be like a lot of fun being part of that troupe and going around and, being part of a... Yeah.
It's also a Sam Rose joint, I guess.
Yes,
People don't say that anymore.
I mean,
Sam Rose production, but it's myself, Andu, Kara, Camilla, and T-Barb. And it's just fun being around 5 women that are all equally funny. We pull our own weight, and it's fun. It's like a little Spice Girls.
Yeah,
it is. Spice Girls.
And it's so interesting because you were talking about like making your own way versus having a spot, and this is kind of making your own way. Like they're putting together this group of women and specifically going out and finding shows, but one of my favorite things about it is I feel like when people think about going back to diversity in any capacity, they're like, oh, I don't like female comedians, or, females aren't funny. Mm-hmm. You've got all of these different women who are all hilarious, but none of them are similar. Like, you would watch every set, and Kara is funny, and Melanie is funny, but they are not the same kind of funny.
You get like a different flavor. It's like a sampler pack. Mm-hmm. Like you get something different with every single set. And I think everybody you mentioned can go on and headline on their own, part of that tour. So you essentially have a touring group of 5 funny headliners. Mm-hmm. So if that tour is ever near you, you should probably go check it out, because you're going to be in for a real treat.
It is, because we're going to be at the Ann Arbor Showcase.
March
the 15th.
March the 15th,
we'll be there.
Which Spice Girl would you be?
Oh, I was just going to ask that.
I'm Mel B. Come on now. I got to be Mel B.
What would be awesome is if, when you guys become, super popular and famous, do, an 80s style Saturday morning cartoon, like the Eyes Up Here tour, and you get your own little intro and everything, and...
Like Jim?
Yeah, like Jim, but, you guys all have your own...
With our own little thing. Jim meets the PJs.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That'd be so cool, wouldn't it? And they all have their own special power,
That's what I'm saying.
You could do the interpretive dance and mesmerize the villains.
But I want mine to be the clay people like the PJs. I don't want the anime. I want mine to be clay. Like that weird clay period when they was like this. I want mine to look like that.
Do you remember when the California Raisins
That's what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We could just be like the little, and then when they had the little hearts like this, it's 80s.
Yeah, the 80s were a great
Oh, I
time.
love that so much.
Yeah. Were you an 80s child?
Yes, I am an 80s
Oh,
baby.
80s babies are the best. Yeah, I think there's only one person here who's not an 80s baby, and he's behind the scene. Yeah, that's why he's behind the scene. He hasn't earned his right
Too old.
He's too old, yeah. Get behind the scenes, Daryl.
But you know what? I had a shocking discovery that I just figured out that my nieces tried to call me old school, and I was like, no, I am throwback. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't know who Indiana Jones was and
What?
Crocodile Dundee. And I said, excuse me, Indiana Jones was a good white man who never tore his jacket,
Absolutely.
not one time, and he tried to get all the artifacts back to where they belong. Okay,
Yeah.
back to where they belong.
Now, who would have won in a fight, Indiana Jones or Crocodile Dundee?
Man, Crocodile Dundee finna hit him with it's gonna be the little whip versus the boomerang. So, I don't know, Indy might hit him with the boomerang, and you know what I'm saying? He tried to get that boomerang, and then he gonna take the whip and take that, but then Crocodile Dundee got a machete, so he just
That's
gone.
very true.
He
But
just gone.
Indy has more friends. Indy's got a bigger crew, right?
Okay, true, but Crocodile Dundee, he was recruiting people. He got Reginald Val Johnson.
That's very true.
Oh,
That's
and a
very
limo
true.
driver, you know what I'm saying? So
that's
he
very
came to
true.
New York and kicked, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
That would be such a great movie, like Crocodile Dundee versus Indiana
You know what I'm
Jones.
saying?
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, that would be so great. Now,
Especially now.
Oh, yeah.
Like an 80-year-old Indy.
well, they are making a new Indiana Jones movie, which
Now,
it looks
Paul
terrible.
Holt, he looks terrible.
Yeah, the movie looks terrible.
Oh, man, they gotta let it go.
Yeah, it looks like in the trailer they have him basically saying like, "I don't believe in magic, motherfucker. You see magic in every movie you're in."
Oh, no.
Yeah,
He did
exactly.
close his eyes when they opened the ark. He did close his eyes.
But that's a good point. But then too, he when he grabbed the rocks and he like on the bridge and he's like Kali or whatever and. But
I'm kind of getting irritated with the reboots.
Yeah.
I agree. I just made a post on Facebook about that. I just stop rebooting stuff and make new shit. I've got a whole list. Sorry, I'm like ranting and raving right now.
No, you okay? Because I'm like, leave stuff at a happy ending. Like,
Yes.
Like, even with the Connors, like, we thought they came up, but they never did, so they never got a new couch. That's sad. That's sad.
Yes.
Punky Brewster, her mama still ain't shit. That's sad. Like, we would have thought she would have did better. We didn't want to know what happened to, like, Harry died. We wanted to let that go. We didn't want to know. We didn't want to know that his daughter was great. Like, we don't want to know that. Like,
Exactly.
I'm kind of done with the reboot.
No, I totally agree with you. And there are so many great, like, real historical stories that I love. Okay, so for example, you know what? I talk about bears a lot on this podcast for some reason. Wojtek was a bear in the Polish army that they taught to carry artillery shells. There was actually a bear in the Polish army. He would carry artillery shells over and give them to those Polish soldiers, and then they would put them in and fire them off.
Wow.
I swear. That could be a great Pixar animated movie. For real. Yeah.
Don't they got a show called The Bear? But it's not about the bear. It's about something totally different. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, we've talked about-
It's a chef.
We talked about bears before when Alex Bosanovich was on the podcast, and that's a totally different kind of bear.
You know.
Not a Pixar movie. No.
No.
That would,
But I found out that Slater was a loser and Jesse Keys. I just didn't need to know all this. Now Bel Air is good, but the rest I kind of watched the Saved by the Bell one too.
Yeah.
However, I'm just saying.
I didn't entirely hate the Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I didn't entirely hate it either.
Like
I loved it.
Zach made sense. Like, of course he went that route, like into
And I
politics
needed him to do that.
whatever.
And
Yeah.
I needed him to do that. And that made me feel better. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And Slater, you know what? Because they did exactly what I thought they would do.
Yeah.
yeah. See, now I'll admit I haven't watched that. I couldn't bring myself to watch Bel Air because I love the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So I thought that show ended perfectly.
You're doing
And-
yourself a disservice.
See, everybody has said that, but I just can't. Like, I don't like the dark and gritty reboots of like friendly shows. Because there were some pretty dark moments on the original iteration of the show, but
Oh, when he didn't have his dad. Oh.
yeah, that was so.
Why didn't you
You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
was the,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: black people still turn stuff into a comedy because we still be reenacting like, "Why you don't want me a mama?" Like, get out my face! Like, it's still like Color Purple is not supposed to be a comedy, but somewhere we be like, "You told Hoppo to beat me." Like, it's not supposed to be a comedy, but somewhere
man.
he's gotta make it a comedy.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to see us like do documentaries on like people, but put it in real life terms of who they really are, like not historically, but just like personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I did some research and I figured out that low key Frederick Douglass was a fuckboy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, girl,
tell me
yes.
more. Please tell me more.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, think about it. Freddie married I was reading about his first wife.
Okay.
So Freddie Douglass, he was married to this lady. This is his first wife. Forgot her name just that fast, but I'm sorry. So basically, she paid for everything. She moved him up here and, took care of him, all that stuff. That's great because, black men couldn't find a job then because slavery, whatever.
Yep.
But she helped him get the paper together, all that. She let him go study abroad, all that, and everything. Do you know he brought white bitches back to come stay at their house with them? That was his colleagues. And then the colleagues was talking shit about her, like, she's not cute enough for him, she's not educated enough to be with him, and all this. And these letters are in the Smithsonian, you know what I'm saying? Where these white bitches was talking shit about this black, hospitable lady that was running the household, taking care of kids, managing the books, while Freddie was going studying abroad and running the paper and all this other kind of stuff. And it's not lost to me that when she died in 1882, he married a white woman in 1884. I'm just saying. Then, think about it. You teamed up with Elizabeth Stanton and Susie B. Anthony for the suffrage movement you know what I'm saying? So I feel like they were like content creators, you know what I'm saying? Like a little be like, oh, we about to get with the abolition movement because we want to get our numbers up for the suffrage movement because, the abolition movement was probably doing way better than the suffrage movement at that time, you know what I'm saying? So then now, they done teamed up, but when the suffrage movement got more votes and more content and more followers than the abolitionist movement, and then the white man was like, hey, well, listen, I got a proposal for you. You're doing good numbers. I can back you and I can be your sponsor, but I need to know who gonna get it. Who gonna get that right to vote? Black men or educated white women? And Elizabeth said, to give me the check. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how that happened. And then Freddie, still being a simp, showed up to the convention. Like, I love you, Elizabeth. And she like, it's cool, Freddie, you cool, but I don't want to be seen on stage with you. You know what I'm saying? And this is all historical.
So you literally just gave me one of the best ideas because that rant was fucking amazing. Have you ever thought about doing like a comedy historical show? Like, literally, like, just going on stage and adding that little bit of humor and that little bit of spice to, like, something historical? Because that would be amazing. Because that was very funny and educational. Sort of like, the show Drunken History, but that was great.
I just do it as a part of my set, but to really see a good depiction of it, one-man show, Jake Russell, Planet Ant, Birth of a Whole Ass Nation. Please go check it out. It is a great one-man show where he covers all of this, and it might be a spot in there where Freddie is in there, you know what I'm saying? But he does a one-man show called Birth of a Whole Ass Nation. This is my homeboy, Jacob Russell. So, at Planet Ant. So if y'all ever have a chance to check it out, it is.
It sounds like it'd be amazing,
yeah.
Because I do love history. So, like, I love when people put, like, a little bit of humor on that because, again, like, you're learning something besides laughing, right? And
because you gotta look at it for what it was.
Yeah.
And now you be like, Like, now I look at it in the books. They be like, friend, I'm like,
Yeah. I mean, everybody in history has a little bit of some, some skeletons in the closet.
A little bit of
Yeah, a little bit of
There's I saw someone on Instagram the other day. They were doing fuckboys in her DMs, and she turned it and went historical on them. So, somebody pops in and she's like, oh, do you like to role play? And they're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. She's like, okay, I'm Mary Todd Lincoln. And so then everything that he says, he's like, well, let's fuck in the grass. And she's like, no, there's Confederate soldiers all over.
Yeah.
Like, there was X amount of soldiers and all of this stuff. And he's like, you're fucking weird. Like, I just want to fuck. And every response back is just historically accurate.
She'd be like, Mom, I have the blue blinded plague. I cannot come out today.
She should have been like, let's go watch a play at the theater.
Yes.
That's what she should have said to him
so,
toward the end, yeah.
My husband is going away for a little while. Like,
Yeah. I've got the vapors right now.
Why do everybody got a southern accent? Man, why we all sound like Julia Sugarbaker?
I don't know. Yeah, see, I was actually down in Tennessee for a while. And by the way, Austin, Brian, and Kobe, if you guys are watching, my co-workers in Tennessee, yes, I do make fun of the way you guys talk. Sorry. You already brought that up to me when I was down there last time, but we're a comedy podcast. Yeah.
On the unrelated note, do you know, just as a random thought, that they could not bring back designer women because them bitches was Karens. Like, if you low-key go...
Really?
I love... the designer women is so... Like, if you go back and look at it now, it would be so problematic.
Yep.
4 white women got the black ex-felon as the hired help. Yep. And then Julia and the other one, Suzanne, were daughters of the Confederate. Like, it wasn't gonna fly. And then what you call it was from proper blood. It wasn't gonna fly now.
Speaking of more of those older kind of shows, who was your favorite Golden Girl? If you're a fan of Golden Girls.
Oh, hell yeah, I love Golden Girls. Sophia.
Sophia?
Sophia.
I used to watch Golden Girls with my grandma.
You know what?
Ooh.
I'm torn between her and Dorothy because Dorothy, let me tell you something. Interesting story. B. Arthur hated all of them. They did not get along.
I think B. Arthur hated everybody.
She probably, but she's such a good actress that you never knew that they did not get along. Like that's how well that they all acted. That this show centered around friendship. Really, these women did not get along.
Right.
Well, she didn't get along with the rest of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say only for the fact that she still was a G and was a good actress, even though she didn't like nobody. Man, Dorothy, I like Dorothy. Dorothy was sarcastic as hell.
Oh, she was so sarcastic.
Your favorite Golden Girl, Elena?
I didn't realize until I was older how much this would say about me, but I would proudly, when I was younger, just Blanche. But I thought Blanche was the best and hilarious. And then everybody's like, "Oh, well, I know why you're Blanche." I'm like, but
I'm Blanche now.
yeah.
But I like Jackie from 227. That was my girl. Jackie.
Mary.
With the little tight dresses. Mary.
Jackie.
Lannister.
I would spend, no lie, I would spend weekends. There were 3 times in my life on a family vacation we stayed in the hotel 227. Like, just accidentally, that was our hotel room. And I would spend the entire time working on my Jackie impression. We'd be in Florida and I'd just be walking around like, I'm Mary. Like, it's not good, but it was, and it's the only, the neighbor,
Rose or
who,
Pearl.
not the older one, but her name was Elena, the actress's name. It wasn't Mary, it wasn't Jack Hay, and it wasn't the older woman. It was like the other...
Rose?
Maybe?
Rose is the other lady.
Okay. And her name was Elena, and I got so excited whenever they would show the credits, because it was like the only time I'd ever seen my name. I couldn't find a damn license plate or anything, but I was like, that woman that nobody knows her name on 227 is also named Elena, so that was my show.
You gotta hit it with the nasal. Mary. It's a cross between the nanny. It's like the, right there. That Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
And then when she came back as Sister's mom, it threw me off.
That was the old Jackie.
Yeah,
She was old.
it was
She
so
was
weird.
Miss Jackie. Yeah.
What is your favorite show from your childhood?
Oh,
Again, hard question, I know.
Favorite show from my childhood. Goodness gracious.
But like all the old shows, because we've been having a great
I would say
nostalgic trip here.
I would say like my top 5. I used to love the TGIF lineup. So I definitely was a TGIF lineup with, Steve Urkel. And I don't care what nobody say. I did watch the Cosby Show. I don't give a damn.
Everybody did,
Because he could fuss away and did nothing. Different Worlds. So that was one of my favorites. Step by Step. I watched. So all those came on like the TGIF. Hanging with Mr. Cooper came on TGIF. So I had a lot of, but like 227, good times. I mean, But my childhood, I would say shows like that. I watched a lot of cartoons, X-Men.
Oh, X-Men. Who was your favorite X-Men character?
Well, as far as the cartoons, I used to love Gambit.
Everybody loves Gambit.
I love Gambit.
Yeah.
Sherry, he was so sick. He was a little hard. He was a little charmer. He was a little charm. He was a little snake charmer.
He was. Gambit was awesome.
Rogue on the cartoon was my girl,
Yes.
and it made me so sad when they brought her out in the movie. I don't know if it was the most recent movie, but when the girl from True Blood was Rogue.
Anna Paquin.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed.
I was a huge, and still am, a Nightcrawler fan. Nightcrawler is my favorite. I was so happy when they brought him in X-Men 2. I'm like, yes! And then in the third one, Alan Cumming didn't want to go through all the makeup, so he wasn't.
Because the X-Men had a good story. Like when I go back and watch the actual like our cartoons had a little grown meaning. They had a little grown meaning because X-Men had a lot of stuff going on. Like Wolverine, they was doing hella shit. The little relationships they had. Like I watched some of them, and I used to watch Tailspins a lot.
Tailspin
and Chip and Dale. Did you like the new Chip and Dale?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Where it's like half CGI and half. I want to see it. I just haven't got around to it.
It was
yet.
actually
I've heard
really
it wasn't
good.
bad. Yeah,
really good. He said, we got smell lines that make it go through the roof. You know what I'm saying? Like Disney is really good for putting adult stuff into it and then just making you laugh. Like, so we really got these kids watching opium den that's supposed to be cheese.
Yes.
And then the cheese is going right here. And there's a little mouse going like
Floating,
this, like he high. I'm like, now this is high looking.
Yeah.
Oh But it was good though.
No,
It was good,
It really
yeah.
was good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't heard, like, no one talks about Tailspin anymore. But it was a great show.
It was. So if you watch the movie, it's really funny because it talks about which character. So they're at like, I'm not giving away, but they're at like a convention of all these characters and stuff like that in old TV shows. And it was just showing you which ones were popular. So Baloo actually was really popular, but then nobody was messing with Sonic. Nobody was messing with Chip and Dale because him and Dale broke up, so nobody wanted to just see Chip, you know.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I forget who else was there. It was a couple other ones.
Yeah.
Just like obscure shows that you watch, and you'd be like, oh, they was cool,
yeah.
but they
Yeah.
not, you know. So it kind of covers all of that in there. So again, if you get a chance to see it,
It is
I'll have to
really
watch
worth
it
a
then,
watch.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And
sounds
that
like-
little the bug from Tailspin, it was like the little
from Chip and Dale, you mean?
yeah, Chippendale. Sorry.
Yeah.
They come back. I can't.
And I was like, this is how I be like, this is why we can't share with white people. You know what I'm saying? This is we be talking about oversharing. White people, y'all be oversharing. This is part of my joke. You know what I'm talking about because I was in an interracial relationship. But anyway, so and I noticed because white people overshare, and I was like, Pedro told you all that shit in good confidence, and you done bought your ass on the podcast and told all Pedro business. That's exactly why we don't tell white people shit.
Yep.
Pedro told you that in confidence, like, hey, homie, if you need to go cook up a little coke, if you short on your bills, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you get a little cocaine, you know what I'm saying? And you out here telling his whole life story, you know what I'm saying? Pedro out here, listen, hey, Pedro, I don't really know him like that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Leave my mom and them out of it, man. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? I got law background, you know what I'm saying? So allegedly, before everything we say, allegedly I know how to cook crack. Allegedly.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to be the new co-host when I end up missing, at some point, you know, just put my face on a milk carton and put it up here.
It's one of the ones like this. Can we do the blurry thing like we on this? And block my face out like this. I'm doing John Cena the rest of the interview.
Yeah.
You can't see me. Can y'all see me? Am I still here?
Well, that too, and I was talking about when I was on a federal jury, and you know, again, that was.
But then you talk. But see, here's the thing: you ain't say nothing about that white man meth name. You ain't say nothing. You said I was on a federal jury.
Oh, I mean,
you
I
ain't say his name. You ain't. What was that white man name?
His nickname.
You had his. You got. He's gonna give his nickname.
Yeah.
You know his government because you was at the thing. No, white man say his government. White man.
His nickname was Doc. Okay.
Oh, it's a lot of docs out here. Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if your nickname is Doc and you're the one making mess, you're really gonna try and say that you weren't the one making this. And the crazy thing is, he was representing himself. He didn't even have a lawyer. So the cross-examination was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
So we gotta find a white man that sell meth named Doc versus
Oh, he's in jail.
Pedro. So now it's about to be 3,000 Pedros going to jail for one Doc. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm saying what that white man said. He still ain't said his name because he knew it because he was in the courtroom.
You know what?
That man's name is Justin Fernagos or whatever that man's name is. I'm about to look up Doc. I'm about to find Doc my damn self.
You know, I might still have my notes upstairs.
You know what I'm saying?
From that.
Overshare, share his face. Put his picture up here. Let us know who he is. Let us know who his kinfolk is. He told about Pedro like that. I was back there like, man, Pedro ain't do shit to try to make
Pedro
to help you make cocaine and get your paycheck up.
Yeah, he's probably flying his plane home from Cuba right now or something.
And he the friend with the private plane. And access to hippos. That's the man I'm gonna be friends with. I'm back there like, damn, if he over there with the hippos, he ain't good. Is he single? He got a plane. That's all I heard. Pedro got a plane. P-Rock. His name is P-Rock from here.
P-Rock, yes.
P-Rock got a plane.
Oh, man. I wonder what he's up to now. I'm probably on his list now.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fresh as hell while the feds watching. They about to be outside taking pictures now. Ka-shir.
Yeah, I'll have to start growing my hair out and shave the beard.
If all of a sudden our subscriber count just goes just from this episode, like, oh, who's watching this? Oh, there's a lot of watches in Virginia and DC.
Yeah. Interesting.
Who's doing the eye on you? Not me. I ain't going.
Have a bunch of people outside. So, you know how to make cocaine? You know how to make meth?
They're about to have their hands out like this, okay? Your neighbor's gonna be over here watching.
Yeah. I'm the drug man now.
You see, I got my good face.
Yeah.
My name Melanie. I'm just happy to be here. I have nothing in my hands.
Oh man, well this has been a lot of fun. I'm probably going to jail, but it'll be good.
It'll be good.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other shows or anything else that you want to plug before we wrap it up here? Anything?
Well, I'll be I don't know when it comes out, but March 1st I'll be in House of Comedy, and then I'll be in Grand Rapids on March the 4th, and then like we said, the Eyes Up here is on March the 15th. Yep. But biggest thing is, and I just want to say this in part because I didn't get this to mention about the Traverse City Comedy Festival. A lot of great opportunities came out of that. Because of that, I did an 8-minute set when I opened up at Dean Edwards, just hosting. Didn't know that Maria Bamford was in the audience still eating and everything like that. And then after that, she contacted me and asked me if I wanted to open for her at Ridley's. And then after that, in that same week, they called me and asked me if I wanted to headline.
So you're killing it.
Just 6 degrees of separation, and everything is an opportunity. So when you say creating a way, that means being present and ready for the opportunity.
Yes. So
I was present and ready for the opportunity, so that way it can lead to bigger things. So biggest thing is just, follow me on my social media handles. Melanie J Comedy, like the white girl, Melanie, and Melanie Hearn on Facebook. And I know you guys may not, and you can catch me sometimes on Channel 4 Live in the D, What's the Buzz, and I'm usually doing that. And I'll be headlining Mark Ridley's Comedy Council in
December.
And I'm so excited because I think the only other black woman that's been in a while has been Miss Pat. So I'm looking forward to that. Which, another full circle moment, I hosted for her at the Motor City Comedy Festival about 6 years ago. And then full circle, here I am headlining again. You know what I'm saying? So, you can always have good full circle moments. You know what I'm saying? You work hard. And Steve, of course, you too.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Do this.
Don't do drugs unless I make them for you.
You at least know they're organic.
Exactly, yes. Elena, what do you got going on in the world of Elena Gonzalez?
Follow me on all the socials at Gonzaleza, Gonzaleeza. We are keeping up with the retro game nights thing, so that's going to be back at One Night Stands in May. I've got some stuff on the west side of the state, but yeah, everything is up on social media.
Nice.
And how about you?
And you know me, I have a monthly show at the Rusted Crow Distillery in Dearborn Heights, a monthly show at Bearded Lamb Brewing Company in Plymouth, Michigan. Waiting for my third room to come up at some point soon. Once it does, then I will have that going on. Potentially a fourth one as well, maybe somewhere in Canton. Don't quite know yet. A lot of things in the works. But again, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Our 25th subscriber will get a free bunch of bananas. Yes. Like the show. And again, thank you so much for watching, guys.